Hey, Matthias,
Hello.
how was Bali?
How should I know yet?
I
But
don't know.
by the time this video drops, there should be a considerable amount of coverage of that time in Bali on my Instagram account. How about you go and check that out while we play the intro?
Well, hopefully we posted some really cool videos on the Instagram accounts.
And I hope that you enjoyed what you saw over there about our running trip in Indonesia. But back here to the studio and today's episode of Reviewing Your Underwater Films. Welcome back to everyone, first of all. Welcome back to you.
Thank you.
It's great that you made the time transitional journey here back into the studio. Do you want to tell us whose video we're watching today?
Of course.
You got one job.
Just take the name and I can go. No, today's video is from, I hope I pronounced correctly, Gage Trader. And Gage was filming with his GoPro Hero 11 in a GoPro housing.
Mm-hmm.
He was using the backscatter red filters and the macromate.
Nice.
He was using as well the backscatter macro wide 4000, the 4300.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he edited in DaVinci Resolve.
That's one for you then. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to figure out where he was. Oh yeah, he said
Darwin.
he was in. Pardon me.
Darwin. Right?
It's written on the video, right?
It's written on the video. Yeah. Well, I have powers.
I was like, how do you know?
I have powers. I have powers beyond your imagination. Or I can read simply. And one important piece of information also that I want to share with you guys is that Gage did re-edit his original submission, because his original submission was like 5 minutes and 14 seconds, which would have been too long to enter our competition here on the channel. So he re-edited that and sent us a re-edited version of it, which is just below 5 minutes, which we're gonna be watching now here. And then the link to the version or to his YouTube channel and the video on the channel is going to be to the original video, which is going to be slightly longer. But at least that way we can link the video and his channel that way. That makes sense.
You did that.
I like doing that.
I know.
It's very calming.
It's like it's the 10% Italian in you.
Ah, sì, claro. Okay. Before we go in there,
you want to talk about this?
Yes, I want to talk about this. I want to talk about Dive-Fog. I want to talk about the greatest smartphone housing ever been created so far on this planet, which is the Dive-Fog C-Touch 4 Max. Also, pre-announcement, there is a new version of this housing that has come out or will come out to the market very, very soon. And it is the platinum version of the Dive-Fog C-Touch 4 Max, a housing which is slightly thicker, slightly, well, it's not bigger per se, it's just thicker, so it can accommodate larger, thicker smartphones, specifically smartphones that have a thicker camera module on them. Some of the newer models do come with thicker camera modules on them, which is actually another thing, giving us higher quality cameras. If you want to hear a little more about that new housing, I have created a video a little while ago, a few weeks ago. I'll link that down in the video description below. But also in about 2 weeks' time, 1.5 weeks' time, there is going to be an announcement when the housing will be available. And you guessed it right, it obviously will be on this channel. You'll hear it here first. So if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, this would be a good time to do so. But I also want to say thank you to Dive-Fog for being a sponsor of the channel, of this series here, and of the competition that we're hosting on the series. We really appreciate all your help and support. specifically also because they're not just supporting us, they're also giving out a 6% extra discount to all of you guys if you want to get yourself some of the amazing dive folk gear that they're producing and creating. Simply use the link down in the video description below to hop onto their web shop and get whatever you want from there. The 6% discount is going to be automatically applied to your entire purchase, or you can use the code Matthias Lebo at checkout if for whatever reason that discount is not applied automatically. I'm going to put that back.
Wonderful.
And while I do so, you can tell us a little bit more about the video.
There's nothing more
There's
to
nothing
tell.
more to tell. All right, then.
It's like we're waiting for you, like always.
That's true.
So
That's true. So let's get right into the video.
let's do it.
right. Thank you, Gage, for that submission. Let me just write my last comment there.
Go ahead.
All right, I'll go ahead. Cool. Thank you. Thank you. That was actually quite fun to watch. Written down a few things that I'd like to pass on to you. First of all, I really enjoyed that you were actually making a little story out of it without having a proper story behind it. But by dividing the video into subsections and using the sort of the numbers and the names of the animals that we saw, it made it into a bit of a story, really, because it was like a countdown, top 10 maybe even, of animals that you saw throughout that trip. And I quite enjoyed that. I mean, I know you probably gonna disagree because you don't like text on video, but I think it was a good idea to make this a little more interesting and also structure the video in a certain way. And I enjoyed that. I was actually sort of, once we got through the first 2 or 3, I was actually anticipating what the next one was going to be. And I think that's quite an achievement. That's nice that you do create that anticipation in people. What's going to be the next one? What's going to be the next one? Is cuttlefish going to be one of the animals that we see? So I enjoyed that. I also think that we need to consider that all of this was captured with a GoPro, and the GoPro is not known to capture great macro shots, and there were some really good shots among the shots that we saw here. Not all of them. I have to be honest. I don't think that all shots are award-winning shots and great shots, but there were a couple of shots that were really good. And I also enjoyed that for most of the part, the transitions were consistent. I know I don't like fancy transitions, but the blur and the fade to black transitions, they were mostly consistent throughout the piece. So that's an okay way of going from one, animal to the other. I think it was solved okay for me. Would you agree on these things?
Well,
here we go. Okay,
No,
this is
no.
going to be a longer review.
No. I totally agree. It's like you try to anticipate what's coming next. Who's number one? Oh, cool. That's number 3. Who's number 1?
Right.
The only problem I see with that is you have to know the diving area not to be disappointed. If somebody is a non-diver or doesn't know what's happening in Darwin, he would okay, so we start with a small one. So what's coming next? So when is coming the shark? When do we see the whale shark? So it's like, it works, and because I think we know what's happening there. It's like, so you don't overestimate what's happening. So you know what's possible to happen. But yeah, for non-diver, I think it's.
I see what you say. I have to say though, the title "Amazing Critters of Darwin" kind of gives it away if you go that way and read the title before you watch it. But I understand what you're saying. Yes, it's not like a top 10 list of marine animals that you can see. It's just very specific to that area.
But anyways, I think as well, you have great macro shots in there, and I like the variety of stuff you showed. It's like there's only one critter and that's it. So you try to go around, you show them like different
Perspectives?
No, I want to say different animals of the same species, if it doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? It's not always the same cuttlefish, different cuttlefish are the same, different kinds, yeah. So it's
different
cool.
Subspecies?
It's like he didn't only show like Mary.
You can clearly
Anton. I don't know.
You can clearly tell that are different individuals.
Yeah, that's what I was looking for. Wow.
You can clearly tell that we're no marine biologists and that English is not our first language either.
Well, at least you understood me. No, I like that. It's cool. It's not only the one specific species. It's like it's very different. It's cool. I like that.
Cool.
Yeah, but I have to agree as well. You mentioned already with the stability, or did not? No, you said not all macro shots are great.
Mm-hmm.
And the main thing I have
Did you
No, you
just
said
speak
that.
over? I
You
didn't
said
say
that.
stability, did I?
No, but I wrote down stability.
Yeah, but okay. But yes, I agree. What about the stability?
It's sometimes not great, and it's like I think it's two parts. One part is the stability during production,
Mm-hmm.
like during filming,
Mm-hmm.
and the other part is the post-production stability made with, in that case, DaVinci, is not executed in the best way.
Yeah.
Maybe a little too much. Maybe it's just not possible. Yeah.
Well, let's focus on the stability that Gage captured. I don't like. My biggest suggestion would be try looking at using a tripod.
So you were criticizing me for not reading. He was writing that he was using a tripod.
Oh, I'm very sorry. I did not hear that before. Did you read that?
Most probably not.
Not, right.
But you didn't read the email.
Look, it's your job to read the email.
Anyways, I agree with the tripod.
Amateurs.
I agree with the tripod. But I think the problem with even when he was using a tripod was the current.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you can improve that by adding weight to your tripod.
Or by using the dive fork tripod, which actually comes with an integrated little lead weight at the bottom, which you could just take off if you don't need it. But then if you do need it, it just attaches to the bottom of the tripod, and it's ideal for smaller cameras, not just smartphones, but also action cameras and such kinds, in terms of the weight that is added here and the compactness of the tripod itself. Just so we cover that.
You just want to show your equipment, or you agree with my suggestion?
I agree with your suggestion and add how this can be made the easiest way.
Yeah. Honestly, I think it's quite challenging. The GoPro is a very lightweight camera, and he said he was using the Joby Gorilla Pod.
Mm-hmm.
This is a very lightweight tripod. Yeah, so you really need to add some weight to it.
Remember before that came out, the dive fork tripod with the weight, we used to. Well, that's what we did. Like, I mean, maybe you can even show a B-roll shot of us in Bonaire somewhere. We used to just cable tie a diving weight on the bottom of the tripod of the Joby Gorilla Pod to make it stable, to make it heavier and stable. And it's a bit of a, an effort that you're making there, and something that you carry with you alongside on the dive, but it really does increase the stability of these shots quite a bit. Also, what I would like to add in regards to stability, think about slowing your footage down, in addition to trying to get more stable footage in the first place. But if you end up with footage that is not completely stable, slowing it down, if you're recording like 60 frames per second, then slow it down to 30 or 24 frames per second in post-production, it will just smooth out those little shakes, not entirely, but at least to a certain degree, and it will make the footage look a little more stable that way.
I agree.
Another thing that I would like to talk about is light positioning and intensity of light. And I would like to say here that more light is not always better. We've seen it in some of the shots here. Some of the shots are lit great, like very nicely, but then some of the shots, I think there was just too much light. And especially when you have a white background, like the white sand, which is reflecting a lot of light, if you're not careful with the intensity of the light, it can be a little problematic, because it just blows out the image, and you're getting an image recorded that is very difficult to correct in post-production. And sometimes it's actually, especially with like critters and macro stuff that you're filming, it can be desirable to use less light. Also, with the lights that you were using, the macro wide 4300s, you have that snoot mode on the light itself, so that can also be useful in just illuminating your object that you're filming without illuminating the part around to just highlight that object a little more. So maybe try playing around with that a little bit in the future there too. Thoughts?
I totally agree. I just saw where he was only filming critters. There was, I think, one wider shot where you see the limitation of one light.
Yeah.
Where you could clearly see like the darkness
Yeah.
coming from the left side.
Yeah. He was only using one light.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was. Yeah, one light.
One light.
Yeah, one light. Yeah.
Yeah. Color matching is probably another thing that we need to quickly mention here, and that is probably an area that you can work on in the future, trying to match the shots. And I know it can be very difficult with shots that have been taken at different times of the day, at different depth, different positions of the sun, all that sort of stuff. Nevertheless, I think that we had quite a big variety of different looks of the footage, if you want to put it that way, trying to get them a little closer. Maybe, well, DaVinci Resolve, you've got your man here. If you need any tips, hit him up. He can tell you how you can get the best matching in DaVinci Resolve. Other than that, there is a link down in the video description below that will take you to a video that I made a little while ago, matching underwater clips, but that's how I talk about how it's done in Final Cut. The process is probably very similar to what you do in DaVinci Resolve. It's just a different dashboard, a different workspace. Maybe that's worth checking out as well, so to get a bit of an idea of how you can match different clips to one another. And I've got one last thing, which is the last frame.
Okay, I still can see it on the screen. Yeah. Yeah.
Not ideal. Just try to complete that transition fully before you end the video, because now it's like you got like the last, I don't know, like 1 centimeter on the right hand side where you can still see the flamboyant cuttlefish.
Yeah, because if he was like afraid of getting the filmmaking too long, like he has, I don't know, 6 seconds left to clear the screen, so it should be possible.
It's a detail, but it's the last impression that people see from your film, so you want to make sure that is nice and clean as you're seeing people off once they've seen your film. That's all I have got.
Yeah, and I guess it's me to sum it up today, right?
Well, you didn't want to play scissor, paper, rock, so yes, it is you.
Okay, you want to play scissor?
No.
Okay.
You missed your chance.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, thank you again very much for your submission. We like the variety of shots and the very cool macro shots you included, as well the story you told us, like anticipating what's next, what's coming, giving a little description to it, and know what's happening on the screen. Yeah, we like that. Matthias even more than me with the text.
Hey.
Yeah, but yeah, pretty cool. We think you can work on 3 topics actually. And the first one is the stability during filming, and we think you can achieve that if you give your tripod a little bit more weight to make it more stable, to generate a solid ground for the camera to stand on. The second one is Matthias said it very nicely. Less is more. Especially when filming critters, is be aware of the power of your lights, and often it's better to reduce a little bit to get a more true to life, a more nicer looking image for editing in post production then. And then the last thing we have is like the color matching. Even if you're if you're using the light all the time, you get different ambient light situations, stuff like that. Try to match your footage as close as possible. Depending on the camera, that can be a challenge, but it is possible. And especially with DaVinci, you have the options to put the clips beside each other and really see if the colors match up. But we had fun watching it.
We did.
And the GoPro macro made is pretty cool. Pretty cool thing.
Right. It's quite incredible what kind of macro footage you can get with a GoPro.
Yeah.
I think that's what I'm really taking from this video. I knew it before, but it's just a very good example of showing that you can get decent, good-looking macro shots using a GoPro.
Agreed.
Yeah. Excellent. Gage, thanks again for your submission. If anyone else out there has a video you want us to review and or you want to enter the competition that we're running here on the channel, more info's in the video down in the video description below about the competition, then do send us an email to contact@matthiaslebo.com with the link to the video that you want to submit and also with some information, some background information about the video, and I'll try to get him to actually read that information prior to watching the video.
I just want to say at least one of us is reading it.
Exactly. As always, Gage's video and his YouTube channel will be linked down in the video description below, so you can go and check out the other content he's got on his channel there. And that's pretty much it for today, right?
Yeah.
All right, thank you guys for sticking with us again. Have an awesome week. Keep capturing all those amazing underwater adventures of yours. And guess what? Next week, well, we will be physically back here in our studio in Zurich, bringing you the next episode of reviewing your underwater films. Until then, have a great week, and we'll see you next Thursday. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.